That is Ritual Beast of all things, and yes, we have another Orcust special. Alright, for the 30% of you that have not smashed the Elven Crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so you can hop on into the time machine here, as we're going to go woo, back to the old days here. Yeah, this is Ritual Beast. I don't know what time capsule that we are actually in for this video, or what is actually going on here, but it has come to my attention that somebody finally had success with Ritual Beast. It took how long did it take? Oh, well, it just took them getting a link monster here to... What do you want me to say? Like, I'm impressed. This is genuinely one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. So I have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyspring, triple copies of Dimension Shifter, triple copies of Ritual Beast, Tamer Elder. We have one copy of Lara with one copy of Wen. We have one copy of the Zephyr Pilica, one Apelio, triple copies of Kanahawk, one copy of Petalfin, triple copies of Rimpengu. We have two Tamer Winda. We have triple Wind Channeler. We have one copy of Called by the Grave, two copies of Dimensional Fissure, triple copies of Emergency Teleport, triple copies of Pot of Extravagance, two copies of Imperm, one copy of Ambush, and triple copies of Steeds. Yeah, Steeds is still pretty good, actually. Down in the next trick, we have triple copies of the Ulti Kumo Falcos, one Unicorn with one Phoenix. We have one Borosor with one Lightning Cheetori. We have one Ulti Petalfin, two copies of Ulti Gaia Pelio, triple Kanahawk because Loops brother. And then we have two copies of Ulti Apelio. Then we have triple copies of Droll Lockbird, triple copies of Space Rock, triple copies of Lightning Storm, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Gozen Match here, wrapping up your pretty straightforward combo deck. And you know, you loop all the good stuff. You generate as much advantage as you can through just kind of wasting some time is what it almost feels like here. Next up here is all Orcust. So we're playing Clockwork Knight here. So all face the monster on the field become machine type, and then machine monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, and then machine monsters your opponent control will lose 500 attack and defense. This is going to create some little interesting interactions. And then you can banish this card from graveyard, discard a card to add an Earth Machine. As you can see here, we play one Earth Machine, which is the Scrap Recycler here, which is actually going to be able to get you off the ground, actually. It's actually kind of cool. So you can, discard one of your bad Orcust cards if you open up something bad, and you can kind of go ahead and start to combo up. This is very reminiscent of old previous Orcust combo, and I think that's actually pretty freaking sick. So we have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyspring. We have triple copies of DD Crow. The Crow value is actually still pretty good. We have triple copies of Grisu, the Orcust Mech Knight. We have one copy of Gizmekadoji, one Brass Bombard, two copies of the Symbol Skeleton, two copies of Orcust Nightmare, triple copies of Scrap Recycler, and two copies of the World Wand. Then you got one Called by the Grave, your triple copies of Clockwork Knight. You gotta love this card. One Foolish Burial, triple copies of Foolish Burial Goods. We have one Babel, two Orchestrator Return, triple copies of Imperm, triple copies of Crescendo, and then we have triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlord. Yeah, actually, Floodgates. Gotta love them. We have one Zero Boros with one Trisbania, one copy of Longrisu, one Linkaribo with one Nightmare Unicorn, one Nightmare Phoenix with one IP. We have triple Galtea with one Dahark, one Barricade Borgblocker, one Access Machine, and two copies of Dingrisu. Then we have triple copies of Spooky Dogwood, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple Dark World No More, triple Anti-Scam Fragrance, and triple copies of Dimensional Barrier here, wrapping up probably one of your more basic functionality list in terms of the Orcust department. So good stuff. Next up here is our first Minkanko deck that we're going to be looking at. Now, full disclaimer here, I love what Minkanko aims to do. I love the damage reflection aspect of these little monsters, but the problem is they're really just a splash package at the end of the day. You don't really dedicate a full crazy deck to these things. They're just the little sub-power moves that I feel like you get access to, because, getting the ability to take control of an opponent's monster is pretty good at the end of the day, but it doesn't stick around long enough, I feel like. So we have triple copies of Jerusalem, triple copies of Magna Hut, triple copies of Diviner of the Heralds. We have one copy of the High Ray, the Sword Minkanko, one copy of Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, one Renauld, one copy of the Libromancer Agent, two copies of Libromancer Fire, triple copies of Geek Boy, one Magician Souls, that's interesting. We have one copy of the Nini, the Mir Minkanko. Yeah, one Ben 10 with two copies of Illusion, and then one Doom Broker. Then we have two copies of Orihime. Then we have triple Emergency Teleport with two copies of First Appearance, one Fire Dance, one Kagura, one Purification Dance, one Rondo, and one Water Abereske. Then you got triple copies of Prep, one copy of the Great Minkanko Ceremony, and one Libromancer Intervention. Then you got one Sprite Elf, one Unicorn with one Isolde, one IP with one The Ferocious Flame Swordsman, one Dehark, one Cross Sheep, one Boral Sword with one Apo, one Wollo, one Zeus, two Herald, one Baron, and one Anintis. And then we got two Little Spooky Dogwood, triple Lava Golem, triple Lightning Storm, two Talents, two Dimensional Bear, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence here, wrapping up none other than the power of Minkanko Good Stuff Ritual Toolbox. I'm glad to see that this is working out here. Now, as we move on along here, we have a second take for this deck. Now, this is where you're going to kind of start to see a little bit of a drawback in the ritual department. You're still going to be able to do a lot of the ritual stuff, but you see, like, we cut back an Illusion of Chaos here. We're still doing like a 1-1 patch of this, but we're focusing more on the Water Abereske side of things here, just because you can special summon a Minkanko from your hand or deck with a different original name than the equipped monster, and then if you do equip it with this card, then return the monster that was previously equipped with this card to your hand. So you're going to get like a little rotation effect going here. Actually equip this on an opponent's monster and get a spot removal to take care of something that is looking like it's a threat across the field. How often does that come up? Sometimes. It really does. So we have triple copies of Libromancer Fire with two copies of Geek Boy. So once again, you're seeing that Libromancer package need to be staple in this deck. We have two Libromancer Agent with two Renauld. We have two copies of Diviner of the Herald, one Magician Souls with one Hygor, and we have one Nini. Triple copies of Lava Golem with one Magician Souls, one Illusion of Chaos with one Ben 10. We have one Saravis, one Doom Broker with two copies of Orihime. We have triple copies of E-Telly, triple copies of Prep, two Talents, two Libromancer First Appearance, two Water Abereske, your one Reflection Rondo, one Fire Dance, one Ceremony, and one Minkanko Kagura with one copy of Intervention. Then down in the next deck you have one Apollosa, one Access Code with one Donner. You have one copy of Dehark, one Phoenix, one IP, one Ferocious Flame, one Spray Elf, one Isolde, one Cross Sheep, two Herald, one Baron, one Wollo, and one copy of Anintis here, wrapping up your whole extra dedicated slots for the ritual deck. I think this deck is really cool. Like, I don't know how to play it in the slightest, but I mean, it's really something at the end of the day here. And last as we have for you is Dark World. Dark World's still going on a rant and tangent down here. I think that every time I can see somebody actually enter into an event out here and actually do well with Dark World, I think it's a good sign. It really does prove that there are people that take a look at this deck and like, no, I don't want to play this. There's no real like point. Well, here's where we're looking at right now. Like, patience. It does kind of come together. So we have one copy of Beige, one copy of Zephyros the Elite, one Ceruli, two Bigfoots, two Mothman, two Nessie with one copy of Thunderbird. We have one Jackalope with one Tsuchinoko, triple copies of Fairy Tale Luna, triple copies of Genta, one gold with triple Grapha. We have triple copies of Fenrir, triple copies of Rainbucks, one Silva, triple Snow with two copies of the Salamander Catalyzer, two Allure Darkness, two Dark World Ascension, one Archives with one Puppetry, two copies of the Dark Gates. We're only playing two. Very interesting. We have two Talents and one Dark World Brainwashing. Down here in the next deck, got one Zelantis with one Saruja, one News Reporter with one copy of Nightmare Unicorn, one IP with one Cross Sheep, one Boral Sword with one copy of Apollosa, one Akashik, one Dugaris, one Baguski, one Giant Trainer, one Abyss Dweller, and two copies of Grapha. Then you got triple Spooky Dogwood, triple copies of Lava Golem, two Raigeki, two Twin Twisters, triple Evenly Matched, and two copies of Skill Drain here, wrapping up, well, your chunk of deck profiles today. So, what do you guys think about all of the interesting little goodies here? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.